Hi, I'm Dan with Carl's Golfland. Welcome to Carlsbad, California. We're here at the Kingdom with TaylorMade Golf, here to check out some of the 2024 product lineup. Let's go check it out. All right, we're here at the Kingdom with Tomo Bystad. Tomo, thanks for having us today.
Of course.
You mentioned that one of the things you're most proud of with TaylorMade is that carbon face. You guys have reinforced that face this year, right? Can you touch on that?
Yeah, so we've kind of redesigned it really. You know, it comes back to sort of, it's still the 60-layer construction, so 60 sheets of carbon in this face, bonded to the face. What we've really redesigned on the new models in the Qi10 series is the ledge around it. So the part that the face bonds to on the head has been modified to really flex with the face more consistently. And that has allowed us to create more speed essentially around the edge of the face and also improve durability of the product as well.
Okay, very good. Obviously with Qi10, MOI is a huge story here. Can you tell us what MOI means to the average golfer that maybe doesn't know enough about it?
Absolutely, yeah. MOI is one of those industry terms that, again, people talk about all the time. But it is a kind of a scientific terminology at the end of the day. What it ultimately means for a golfer is it's the measurement of the stability of the head, essentially when you miss it off center. So it's sort of that resistance to twisting. You know, if you hit the ball on the toe of the club, for example, the head's always going to move back this way. The higher the MOI, the more it's going to resist that motion. And so not only are you going to feel more stability through the hands, it's going to feel more solid when you hit it, but the ball's also going to produce less side spin, going to protect the ball speed better as well. So it's sort of an improvement for consistency and for, again, stability and sort of dispersion in general.
All these technologies here with the Qi lineup. Can you speak to some of the biggest gains and some of the biggest features that we'll see in this in 24?
Yeah, so for sure. Obviously the 10,000 MOI comes from a bunch of other innovations that are on this product. So let me talk you through some of those. The first one really is this infinity carbon crown. So as soon as you take the head cover off this product, you'll notice that the carbon now goes all the way around the edge of the crown. Typically, drivers in the market today have carbon on part of the crown. Although we've had big crowns before, this one's the biggest one we've ever had. The other thing you'll notice is that it's a bigger shape. So I mentioned that a little bit earlier too about bringing a bigger shape, allowing us to move this back weight here, which is a 32-gram tungsten weight, even further back in the club. And that's, again, enabling us to get to that 10,000 MOI. In conjunction with this infinity crown, we've also been working on a composite ring at the back. The silver piece at the back is a composite material that, again, helps us to reduce weight where we don't need it and allows us to concentrate the mass back here, and we even have some mass concentrated in the heel and the toe of the club as well. Okay.
And then another thing here on the sole, you can see this ledge here. What's the significance of that on the angle that it's on?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We do design all these clubs at a slight angle on the sole, and it's all predicated by aerodynamics. So we do a lot of wind tunnel testing, a lot of computer simulations on what is the most aerodynamically efficient head shape. Especially with these larger heads now, they're all 460 cc's, you want to make them as slippery as possible through the air. Now the reason it has a ledge here in the toe is because of this longer front to back shape, we need to make sure we carve out some of the volume in the toe to stay under the 460 cc limit. And so these are in the 460cc rule limit, but still allows us to make a bigger head by having this little ledge and this little cutout area in the toe here.
Let's talk about the LS head real fast.
Yeah, so this new sliding weight, and I'll give you this one to hold. This new sliding weight here is actually, it's gone from basically a two-piece weight where the weight was clamping on a track. It's now one-piece weight. It's an 18-gram weight in this case. It actually slides into a garage in the heel. So it's a little bit of a pocket that it goes into. And the reason we did that is because having this track covered up in the heel improves aerodynamics again. This heel area is very sensitive in the downswing. From an airflow standpoint, especially these faster guys you see on tour now like Rory and Tiger and these guys, having a slightly more aerodynamic head really helps them just eke out those tenths of a mile an hour of club head speed at the end of the day. So,
of course. So when it comes to workability standpoint, obviously there's draw settings and fade settings. How much of a difference are we talking with that all the way out on the toe versus all the way in the garage?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So it's a little bit player dependent. Typically I would say a good rule of thumb is sort of 10 yards either way. That's what a lot of people are going to see with the full toe setting, probably 10 yards right of center, with the heel setting about 10 yards. Again, some people will see more, some people will see a little bit less, but that's a good rule of thumb.
Okay. All right, and let's say, so as a retailer, we've got everybody coming into the store from plus handicappers all the way up to as high as you can guess. Can you explain the biggest differences between the Max head, the LS head, and the Qi10 standard head?
Yeah, so you know, looking at the three clubs, you know, I'll put them in sort of size order here. So the Max will be your biggest head. I mean, that's the first thing you know is it's the biggest head. This is sort of your mid-size in the Qi10. This is actually slightly bigger than all the Stealth 2 products. So these are both slightly bigger. The Qi10 LS is going to have more of the Stealth 2 shape to it. So it's going to be a little small. So that's the first thing you'll notice. The biggest performance difference is going to be spin rate. So this is going to be a very low spin driver, great for higher swing speed guys, maybe high spin players in general. This one is still going to be a little bit lower spin than your Stealth 2, but definitely building on more forgiveness than in the LS model. The Qi10 Max, I think, is going to work for a lot of people. So that's the one I would say most golfers who are looking for a new driver, don't know what they're looking for, should maybe start at the Max. Max is going to perform great for, obviously, for anybody who's a handicap player, but we're also going to see a lot of great players using the Max. We already have that in play on tour with Nelly Korda. She uses the Qi10 Max. And again, it's what you need from a launch perspective, and most players will take all the forgiveness that they can get. And even better players will see very consistent launch conditions, which has been a positive for some of our tour players that have tested it.